Total Recall throws you into a future where memories are for sale. Vacations happen inside your head, and one visit to Mars can rewrite your entire life. One day you're a construction worker with a dull routine. The next, you might be a secret agent, a pawn in a corporate war, or just a guy losing his grip on reality. Here are 20 wild facts about Total Recall that dig into its mind-bending production, brutal effects, and the strange choices that made this sci-fi nightmare so hard to forget. Number 1. The movie was in development for a decade. Unlike popular belief, Total Recall did not sprint into cinemas, but slogged through hell for more than a decade. Producer Arnold chased financing and worthy scripts for years before finalizing it. During this time, many studios and directors joined and left the team, and it was until after 40 drafts that it finally went into production in the late 1980s. It came with its fair share of challenges, but slowly turned into a blockbuster with persistence, leading to a Hollywood evolution in sci-fi epics. Number 2. Cronenberg's influence never left. When visionary director David Cronenberg was attached years before the film was made, he poured his imagination into bizarre mutants and world-building. Even after Cronenberg left the project, many of his creature ideas survived into the finished film. Mutants like Kuato are vivid examples of influence in the final cut that gave the film its unsettling, organic, and grotesque life forms that populate Mars' underworld. Cronenberg's wild imagination left something truly memorable on screen. Number 3. How Mexican transportation gave a futuristic look. To bring its futuristic world to life, the Total Recall crew transformed everyday reality. Instead of inventing every vehicle from scratch, production designers took Mexico City's actual metro subway cars and dressed them to appear as sleek, sci-fi transport, painted gray and enhanced with futuristic monitors and props. These real subway trains gave the film's universe a clever blend of practicality and cinematic imagination. Number 4. A sick cast. Shooting almost entirely in Mexico City over many months brought unexpected consequences beyond mere sci-fi thrills. Nearly the entire cast and crew suffered from food poisoning and illness due to local conditions. The sickness forced frequent medical breaks and lowered morale, and even the director Paul Verhoeven became so ill that an ambulance had to wait on set. But a thoughtful member, Arnold Schwarzenegger, cleverly avoided most sickness by bringing food from the US as a result of lessons learned from previous experiences. Number 5. The remake that took a different path. Decades after the original's success, Hollywood revisited Total Recall with a 2012 remake. This new version starred Colin Farrell and was directed by Len Wiseman, but it strayed drastically from the classic Mars setting. Instead, it focused on an earthbound dystopia. The remake undoubtedly had modern effects and big names, yet it failed to capture the same audience love or critical acclaim as the original. Number 6. Arnold's multiple injuries. Behind all the spectacle that caught your eyes immediately was the real pain of Schwarzenegger, who took hits even when the cameras weren't rolling. During a subway sequence, a gag explosive meant to shatter glass failed, so Arnold punched through it for real, leaving his hand cut and bloody. Later combat scenes caused broken fingers and other hand injuries, forcing clever camera work like occasional hand hiding in order to maintain continuity. So, the toughness wasn't just for the screen, but truly earned on set with grit and dedication. Number 7. Kuato, the puppet. Did you know that one of the film's most unforgettable characters, Kuato, who was the psychic mutant rising from another's torso, was not CGI? The effect required an intricate prosthetic and about 15 puppeteers working in unison to bring every subtle motion to life. Actor Marshall Bell wore a specially designed bodysuit, and the puppet's head and movements were mastered thanks to the perfect practical craftsmanship and expert puppetry. This created a creature so convincing many audience members once thought it was real. Number 8. Why Schwarzenegger helped another company buy the movie. Arnold didn't just audition for Douglas Quaid, he strategically helped the movie exist. When producer Dino De Laurentiis' company faltered, Arnold convinced Carolco Pictures to purchase the rights and effectively brought Total Recall into his world. His involvement came with broad creative approval, including director selection and script influence because he believed deeply in the story. And without all of Schwarzenegger's behind-the-scenes maneuvering, this cinematic Mars adventure might never have been made. Number 9. The short story as inspiration. At its heart, this wild sci-fi springs from a 1966 short story by celebrated writer Philip K. Dick called "We Can Remember It for You Wholesale." That original tale was compact and filled with twists and ended up planting the seed that blossomed into the sprawling screenplay of Total Recall. Even though the movie expands dramatically on action and spectacle, its philosophical roots about memory and reality come straight from Dick's creative mind. Number 10. How Dino De Laurentiis shaped the project. Before the film became a collaboration between Schwarzenegger and Verhoeven, the legendary Italian producer Dino De Laurentiis bought the project in the early 1980s and tried to mount it with different directors and stars. His involvement helped immensely to push the project forward, even if his company ultimately couldn't complete it. De Laurentiis' early passion and financing efforts were key pieces in the long journey from this journey of a short story turning into a sci-fi blockbuster. Number 11. Cronenberg quit. We know about the famed body horror maestro David Cronenberg, who handled the reins, but he had a different approach than Philip. Cronenberg wanted an art house sci-fi, not an action spectacle, but producers insisted on Raiders of the Lost Ark Goes to Mars. This is when Cronenberg walked away, disillusioned but still responsible for elements that inspired the final film. Number 12. Arnold Schwarzenegger's chase. Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't just stumble into the film, he chased it. During the project's long journey through development hell, producer Dino De Laurentiis repeatedly passed on casting him, thinking his accent and persona weren't right for Quaid. But Arnold believed the story was worth fighting for. Without his tenacity, this classic might have taken a very different shape. Number 13. Michael Ironside finally worked with Verhoeven. The tough and towering Michael Ironside had crossed paths with director Paul Verhoeven before, but this film marked their first true collaboration. Ironside was chosen to play the relentless Richter, which was a role Verhoeven crafted as a chilling sociopath, rather than a cartoon villain. Ironside's gritty performance lent real menace to every scene, and Arnold even complimented his physical presence, saying it made their confrontations feel pulse-quickening and dangerous. Number 14. Ironside suffered a serious injury too. Richter may have been terrifying on screen, but Michael Ironside paid a price in real life. During a hotel chase, he cracked his sternum and separated ribs after colliding with a co-actor holding a prop Uzi. Insurance wouldn't clear him to return until he could do 50 push-ups, so against medical advice he tried anyway. This led him to re-injuring himself, but the fighter that he is, he fought through and stabilized himself with a brace borrowed from an NFL player. Number 15. The use of miniatures. Total Recall stands true to their old-school practical effects. Before CGI dominated, filmmakers built sprawling environments like the Martian landscapes and futuristic cities as miniature sets, crafted by Stetson Visual Services. These tiny marvels were shot with painstaking precision to create a real sense of scale and depth because computers of the time couldn't convincingly render such detailed worlds. All true fans know how the animatronics and prosthetics carried the film's weight that continues to be admired today. Number 16. It was originally given an X rating. When the film first went before the ratings board, the reaction was dramatic. That's right, an X rating due to its graphic violence and brutal combat. That rating threatened its commercial prospects since films with such labels were often box office poison. To secure an R rating instead, producers cut and trimmed several sequences, re-angled shots, and dialed back gore without softening the film's impact. The tweaks preserved the carnage and even widened its audience reach. Number 17. The original ending. Fans have debated the finale of Total Recall for decades. Do you think it was reality or a dream? Early versions of the story ended with Quaid gaining total recall of his past and embracing an identity far deeper than anyone expected. Early on, writers steered away from the ambiguous dream versus reality narrative to lean toward a definitive truth. Paul Verhoeven later chose to keep the ending vague, so it lets the audience decide whether Quaid's victory was real or memory. Number 18. Patrick Swayze. In the late 1980s, when Bruce Beresford signed to direct and actor Patrick Swayze attached as Douglas Quaid, production actually began in Australia, with sets being built and crews prepping. But just 2 months before filming started, the De Laurentiis Entertainment Group filed for bankruptcy. It led to an abrupt halt, and the crew had to be fired and sets destroyed. The project was then put into turnaround, which allowed other studios to scoop it up. Number 19. Shot in sequence. As rare as it is for a big-budget blockbuster, Total Recall's principal photography was planned so that most scenes were filmed in sequence. This means that the story unfolds in the order we see on screen. Starting in April or May of 1989, director Paul Verhoeven and his massive crew worked through more than 20 weeks of shooting and moving through over 45 interconnected sets in Mexico City. It was an unusual approach, but it helped actors develop performances organically and keep up with continuity. Number 20. Total Recall cost the world what? During the mid-1980s, visionary director David Cronenberg was offered The Fly, but he initially turned it down because he was deeply committed to adapting Total Recall. Meanwhile, The Fly's first chosen director left the project after a family tragedy, and Cronenberg finally took it on after exiting Total Recall. Little did he know, it would go on to become one of his most iconic films. Total Recall leaves you wondering whether memory builds us or betrays us, and that's exactly why its strange brilliance keeps pulling us back. If you enjoyed these insights from the making of the film, subscribe and keep watching for more trips backstage. For the next time your dreams start looking a little more cinematic, maybe check who's writing the script.